Good day guys, nice to have you here. Today we will yet again discuss Argus, and this time we will focus on decision making in terms of lane management. I wanted to focus on this topic today because there are still a lot of players that are blinded with the idea that killing wins games. Technically it does, but too much of a good thing is bad, and realistically, the real key to victory is proper decision making and balancing between kills and objectives. It does not matter if you have 20 kills if you fail to take most of the objectives, and this video is a perfect example of that. There are 5 different roles in Mobile Legends, and each of those have primary tasks. The roamer's task in providing vision to the teammates, exploring key areas around the map, spending a huge portion of their time in teamfights, and depending on the hero picked, is also tasked to support or heal the team, especially the allied carry, or what some people would call core hero. The jungler is tasked primarily to take major objectives such as the turtle and the lord, and is also expected to control the map by picking easy kills and spend most of their time joining teamfights. Most, but not always, junglers have edge on the early game and is expected to dominate the moment the game starts until the mid game. The gold laner is expected to carry the game from the mid to late game, or when the jungler's impact on the offensive end starts to diminish. They are also tasked in defending the gold lane and, if possible, pushing the enemy team's gold lane. The mid laner is tasked in securing the mid lane, which is the most important lane in map control since it is very close to a lot of key areas such as the turtle and the lord. Keeping the mid lane safe lessens the escape and entry routes of the enemies. Mid laners are also expected to clear the lanes quickly in order to provide assistance in teamfights. The EXP Laner, on the other hand, is pretty special. This is the role with the least exposure in teamfights. They're like supports, except what they support usually are not heroes, but primarily the lanes. Effective EXP Laners have above average decision making skills, since their responsibility greatly shifts as the game progresses. The EXP Laner is expected to push and defend the XP lane, and is also expected to provide assistance to the mid lane whenever the mid laner is not available to defend it. XP Laners also have to have superb map control and know when to quickly clear the lane or stall as needed. From the mid game onwards, XP Laners in most cases are also expected to manage all of the lanes, since the rest of the roles are expected to join teamfights as frequently as possible. This is what makes it challenging for beginners since they fail to balance lane management and teamfights. After all, despite being primarily tasked to manage the lanes, it is always helpful if an XP Laner can join in teamfights.
Welcome to Mobile Legends! 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
Instead of cutting the lane, I decided to hide in this bush to prevent Chou from lane cutting in case he decides to do so. The enemy had Natalia and I wasn't quite sure where she was. Since Layla was being leashed by Gatot, she will most likely target either the mid lane or the XP lane in order to prevent either of us from progressing too much, thus lessening our impacts in helping take the turtle when it appears. If I had known Natalia was late in positioning herself, I probably would have advanced in to cut the lane. During the laning phase, which is the first 5 minutes of the game, you have to be wise in deciding whether you need to clear the minions quickly or stall in order to freeze the lane. As much as possible, let the enemy minions attack your minions and only strike when you are going to last hit enemy minions. This is called lane freezing. Lane freezing, when combined with aggressiveness against the enemy hero, can be very helpful in preventing them from progressing quickly. Sometimes it can even shut them down completely, thus creating a disadvantage in level and items that will be fairly difficult for them to overcome. Basically how it works is, if the enemy hero comes close, harass them, and if they are away, let the enemy minions kill your own minions. If the enemy XP Laner is too far from the minion waves, they won't be able to gain experience and gold passively from your minions. Keep zoning them and just let your minions die to their enemy minions. Watch carefully and you will observe this technique's effect on Chou.
Enemy has been slain! Enemy has been slain! Enemy has been slain!
Normally Normally I would keep attacking the minions even with this much HP left. However, the enemy team had Natalia. It would be very risky if I remained on the lane with such low HP left. Also, notice that I went inside my turret while I was recalling. I was already prepared in activating my first skill. That way, in case Natalia appears, I will have the chance of outplaying her by using Argus skill combos, hopefully killing her in the process. As of now, we have roughly 300 gold advantage over Chou. That means we also have an advantage in items. That's why I kept the pressure.
Request backup. On my way.
Due to Natalia's presence, it was difficult for our roamer to, well, roam. Hence, the enemies had advantage in taking the turtle. To make matters worse, Saber had very low HP. Since the turtle was about to appear, he should have prepared by regenerating HP and quickly heading back to the turtle. If he did, we would have been able to take it down. Because of the pressure, Chou will be discouraged to help in taking the turtle. Also, he once again lost a chance to gain experience and gold.
Attack the turtle!
The turtle.
This is quite the sticky situation I got myself into. If you were in that position, would you A. Attack Kimi, you are immortal. B. Attack Kimi, don't waste the ultimate. C. Force choke Kimi from a long distance. Or D. Lure Kimi towards Saber. If you answered C, you have joined the dark side, but if you answered D, you are correct, and here's why. I used Argus ultimate while Kimi was quite a distance from him. I did in order to survive Kimi's ultimate. When I activated Argus ultimate, his first skill was still in cooldown status for less than 5 seconds. That skill is very important, since without that, we won't be able to close the gap towards Kimi. By the time Argus' first skill was available, his ultimate would have already ended, which means Argus might have died in the process. So instead of doing that, I decided to lure her towards Saber and have Saber get the kill. Because of that, we were able to at least trade a turtle with Kimi's head, giving Saber tremendous gold, and myself, since I got an assist in the process. Chou was hiding in the bush, which is in my opinion a bad play. He should have taken that opportunity to gain a significant amount of gold and experience. I think he was under the impression that I was able to regenerate HP from the jungle crypts. Notice that I was using my first skill to advance to the opposite side closer to the enemy turret. I was actually provoking Chou to use his ultimate on Argus, but I think he knew what I was trying to do. One of the weaknesses of Chou is if you are able to cleanse his ultimate second phase, Chou is the one stuck in mid-air while you are free to attack him. And with Inspire, he will be long gone by the time his ultimate is over. Too bad he never made the mistake of using his ultimate on Argus in this game. If I were in Chou's position, I would have just taken some of the jungle crypts closer to the lane. That would have given him some experience and gold instead of just turret hugging.
Mega kill! An ally has been slain.
All I am surrounded by is
Sorry.
fear and dead men.
Enemy has been slain. Okay.
You are to lower your defenses. Attack the
Your team
turtle!
destroyed a turret.
Attack the turtle!
That was yet again a successful lane freeze. At that moment, Chou was already behind by 1 level and a difference of roughly 700 gold.
When I left, I was but
You have slain an enemy. An ally has slain the turtle.
Chou confused me for a moment there. I thought he was going to use the second phase of his ultimate. Well played. Instead of wasting time chasing him, I decided to just head to the bottom turret. This is the perfect time to take it down because Chou is being chased down by my allies, and some of the enemies will collapse towards them, therefore nobody will be left to defend it. If I were in my teammates' positions though, I wouldn't chase Chou that far. Never overcommit to team fights. If you have been chasing an enemy for over 5 seconds, I suggest leaving them alone instead. You are just putting yourselves at risk since the enemies already have a good idea where you are located while you are unsure where the enemies might come from. If you overcommit, instead of your team getting the kill, your team might be the one who gets wiped out. Since I was able to destroy the bottom turret, I went ahead to the mid lane to hopefully defend it from the enemies. Remember, keep checking the minimap as frequently as possible and make sure to prioritize lane management, especially defense. Since my teammates were already resurrected, I went ahead and returned to my lane in order to push back the enemy minions a little and be able to join team fights or pressure other enemy lanes. Instead of going to the mid lane to clear the minion waves, I relied on our minions. After all, the turtle was about to respawn, and by the time we're done with the turtle, I should be able to clear the mid lane anyway. Also, the enemies were too busy on the top lane. Clearing the bottom lane was also a good idea in order to encourage Chou and defending their second turret, thus giving us an easier time in taking the turtle. I have to admit, Chou is actually doing an excellent job pressuring our lanes. If it wasn't for him, we would have been able to win this game earlier. I saw Vexana overcommitting to pushing the mid lane. Remember guys, don't be too brave, especially if you are playing as a squishy mage. Clearing the minions closer to your turret is enough. Natalia saw her and I was able to predict that she would head straight to Vexana. Again, check the minimap as frequently as possible and try your best to make the best decisions. This is a team game. This is not the type of game you can win alone unless you are playing in lower ranks. So try to look after your teammates as well, not just yourself.
Killing spree! Initiate retreat!
I should have used Inspire in this fight. Since I didn't, Vexana died. But hey, at least we were able to easily take a turret down because of Inspire. Remember, the objective of the game is to take down as many turrets as possible. Don't be greedy. We're not playing this game to get tons of kills. We're playing this to win.
Initiate retreat!
This was a very poor misplay. I was expecting Chou to use his combo right away like he always did earlier, but he didn't. Since Chou's ultimate is available, I decided to back out. If I didn't, I would have probably died and at the same time lost a turret. Even if I kill one of them, the trade-off would have been horrible. So instead, I let them destroy the turret, move on, and just try to make up for the dumb mistake I made. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect all of them to be there that quick, but that's what makes Argus powerful. Just when enemies thought they had you, they don't. Just don't be greedy and know when to flee. Vexana or Gatot should have went to the top lane since they won't be able to deal significant damage to the Lord anyway. Sadly, they persisted in joining us in taking the Lord, which cost us one of our turrets. Vexana and Layla were on the mid lane and I noticed that they were very vulnerable from behind. So I decided to head to that area instead of going to the bottom lane. Thankfully I did, because if I didn't, Natalia would have taken one of them down.
Your team destroyed a turret!
Just focus on the turret, and once it's destroyed, that's when you start attacking heroes within your reach. That concludes our Mobile Legends content for today. What other recommendations do you have in mind when it comes to lane management? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you haven't yet, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stay safe everyone. Peace.